Hi everybody and welcome to Hex Token channel. Woohoo! We're looking at PulseX live, and of course welcome, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, get into the chat. Let's get going lively and let's enjoy this. Now we've still got quite a bit of time to go through the sacrifice period, and of course that means it's great to have shows like this because we can get together as a community and have a good chat about it as we pass the day. So pretty nice. Let me just check the audio. Audio sounds good. So actually got a new iMac with the M chip in it, so I'm trying to set that up, and I'm going to try and apparently its speaker in the iMac is supposed to 24 new iMac is supposed to have a studio quality mic, so I'm going to try and use that first up and see how that goes. But I'm probably going to be using that maybe even tonight, my time. And almost got it ready for now, but I thought, oh well, just keep it safe at the stage. But looking forward to that. So pretty nice. 4.5K screen as well, and of course my current iMac monitor, which I'm looking into at the moment with the camera, the screen is broken. You know, sometimes the screens they get the old they black out, or they get the old fuzz across the sides, or vertical ones or horizontal fuzz. Particularly on Mac screens, seems to be fairly common based on YouTube videos I've seen. So this sort of can happen quite randomly. But yeah, the new iMac was a 24-inch 4.5K, looks pretty good. So certainly great to see that. So I'll be using that going forward, hopefully, and maybe even today, because I'm thinking about doing a second live stream later today on a different topic altogether. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, pretty cool to be here. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself, man. There's been so much content from all the YouTubers in the Hex, PulseChain, PulseX space, so it's been lots of content to watch, different topics being discussed. I noticed that there's been quite a few stuff around liquid loans, air-drawn, third parties, people liking it, people not liking it, some of the old stories from the Hex days when there was a big rug pull project that rug pulled quite a bit of people's stuff in Hex. I've already talked about that in the past. And you know, those sort of things. So people are just trying to say, you know, are you going to look at the code? Do you really want to interact with your Hex stakes? Do you want to protect those? You know, all that sort of stuff. You're going to get obviously good returns with PulseX, PulseChain, and Hex on PulseChain. So you know, do you need to look at other projects? Are you taking on extra risk, trying to get extra returns when the returns potentially are super duper good? So there's lots of issues like that going around. Everyone's like, whoa, what to do? It gets more confusing, doesn't it, when you have more opportunities? You think it's more opportunities can be a better thing, but sometimes it can get a lot of stuff coming at you, and then you're trying to allocate your portfolio to get the best results. So we'll have a little look at that. We've got a poll on at the moment, of course, so get into the poll. The poll is, do you like any of these third-party projects? So third-party means basically not Richard Art projects. And of course, we've got liquid loans in there, which we've covered we've done a overview on this channel live stream. So if you want to check that out, you can go check that. We went right through it. We actually had a comment from Jesse from the liquid loans team, and he said the video was excellent coverage on that. So big shout out to Jesse there. Also Hedron, of course, which I haven't covered. I was supposed to cover, haven't covered yet. We're going to just briefly go through that. I want to talk about that separately. I'm a little bit, I really like the Hedron from a basic point of view, but I do worry. I need to get my head around the contracts a bit more. I do worry about interacting with if it interacts with the original stakes, which look like it does. Don't want it to potentially lock those in, because you know, there's a trade-off there. If the code works perfectly well, you're okay. But if there is some sort of glitch in it, even after the audit, so he's going to get audits, paying for audits, which is pretty cool. He shows himself as well, which is good. He seems to be a very nice chap. You know, if you're interacting with your original stakes, it's just like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like, really? So there's a little nervousness around that. So it's certainly something to get around there. But we'll have a quick look at that. So we've got liquid loans and Hedron. So you like both of them, and of course none of these. So you're just going to stick with the RH project, which is perfectly good. You know, I'm a RH maxi, so it's definitely something to think about there. Let's get into some of the comments. Sounds like audio is going good, so we're going to get in some of the chats here. The Hex price is looking pretty good now, starting to get a bit of a lift after those Hex OGs sold the last couple of days. They had maturing stakes, like after 700 days, 730 days coming out. They sold some down their portfolio. That sent the price down in this red section here. So you can see that on the red days here. So we've got a nice green candle recovery today, which is quite nice to see. Let's get into some of the chat. We've got Marco in the house. Woohoo! woo, I love it. And that's the attitude you got to have, right? Because especially when you've got to be patient until things launch, until things get lined up. It takes a lot of patience. You know, that's we had the PulseChain Sacrifice in July last year. So it's all the way through to now, but that's still not quite as long as it. People had to be patient for Hex when Hex came up. Had to be about a year or so of patience before Hex went live. So good things to come to those who wait is the way it goes. So just have to bide your time for that. We've got Brendan in the house. Hey, Brendan, good to see you. Woo! And yo, says Pulse Marketing team. Hey, Pulse Marketing, keep up the good work there. Build up your channel. Just keep building it up, Pulse Marketing team. Just think about the content and get out there. The YouTube algorithms will help you. Make sure you get your keywords right and all that sort of stuff. But keep up the good work. We're always, part of the community. We always love to see more and more people promoting this world-class ecosystem. So, which is going to move to domination, right? World domination. That's nothing less. So pretty cool. Brendan says, did you hear about the Polygon network creating a burn function on fees for the network? PulseChain is still going to crush these networks. Yeah. So I actually didn't hear about that, Brendan, but I know that they've had, they do have to deal with that. Also, Matic's actually been performing pretty well anyway, the price. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'm going to check that out. Thanks, Brendan, for the heads up. PulseChain is still going to crush these networks. That's right. PulseChain is going to cause devastation, I think, in a lot of markets. And I think that people are going to get shocked and awed. It's going to be quite crazy. All the establishment's going to get really shocked when they see what happens, man. It's going to be crazy. You think about the news shows that do like CNBC and all those sort of stuff. They comment, "Oh, today Ethereum's up, Bitcoin now, and what do you think about this?" And that they have the people that interview, and then of course they're going to be shocked and awed. Suddenly, PulseChain comes on like something out of an apocalyptic movie, and PulseChain comes on with the devastation it causes to the establishment. It's going to be quite cool. That could be make for a great movie. Hey, we've got Crypto Heartbeat in the house like clockwork. Thanks, man. Hey, Crypto Heartbeat, great to see you in the chat. And Crypto Heartbeat's killing it on the interviews. And man, I think you got a big interview coming up. Is it? I can't remember the name. Is it Wells Fargo or something like that? Let us know in the chat. But that's coming up. The interview is going to be huge. So very cool for that. So Hex Hodl says, hey, B Connect. Yeah, no big connect here, bro. No big connect here. Anyway, so Greg says, get a Brazilian iMac. No fuzz there. Yeah. Good one, Greg. And Charles says, did I hear that Hedron giving airdrop to Hexkin stakers? Yeah, I haven't heard about that. I couldn't see that on the Twitter, but there's something else to look at. We're going to briefly go through those towards the end of the live stream, get into talk about Hedron and liquid loans a bit more. We got good morning. Rumor is that the snapshot fork has happened. Have you heard anything? Is it possible? No, I don't know. The only rumor I get is the rumor from Richard Hart. So no rumor there, folks, from that. Hex Hodl says, I like Hedron. Been using the testnet. It's just free coins while waiting for stakes to mature. Don't have to use the borrow feature or the wrap stakes. Right, Hex Hodl. That's good insight. Thanks for that. Do appreciate that. Hex Hodl says, yeah, the snapshot is the fork, and no, it's not possible until the PulseX Sac is over, dummy. You don't. Yeah, well, let's not cause people dummy, but definitely, yeah, rumors like that are typically false. So do wait for official announcements on that one. Yeah. Hex Hodl says, Hex Token Pump. Yeah, good one. Yeah, nice. I like it. And Hex Hodl says, use Hedron and liquidity loans over any dog crap or other crap on PulseChain. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rubbish on PulseChain, so make sure that you do due diligence. Once again, I say if you just do the Richard Hart projects, you will be sitting back sweet. And PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, if you are getting confused by all the stuff, you can just sit back into those and just if you see any sell-offs, there's an opportunity to pick up more, and you play the long game, right? The long game is the time in the market, not time in the market, and that's probably the best strategy for most people. Obviously, if you've willing to do a spreadsheet and manage it, more actively manage it, then you could do things like liquid loans and and possibly even Hedron. So do take that into account. Pulse Marketing says, I'm all in PulseX. What's it? I'm all in PulseX. Nothing left. I'm all in PulseX. Nothing left. Nice. I like that. Now that's a maxi. Good one. And thanks for shout out, says Pulse Market Team. Hex Tokens, super appreciate it. All good. And just keep up the great work, as we always say. Crypto Heartbeat says, Foster Gamble. Thank you, Crypto Heartbeat. Foster Gamble, apologize. Foster Gamble, I knew it was someone like that. So very, very cool. So check that out, everybody. Foster Gamble on Crypto Heartbeats. If you have, obviously a lot of people following Crypto Heartbeat already, but if you have not, go check that out, because I think that would be a pretty cool interview. And Ryan Goins and says, what's up, Hex community? Hey, good to see you, Ryan, as always. And Bearded Saint in the house. Man, it's been a little while since I've seen you, Bearded Saint, so good to see you. Big thumbs up to you too. And hey, woo, I think we got hey, a new channel member. Woo-hoo-hoo! We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Good to see another Hex Token channel member, Pulse Marketing Team. Welcome. Welcome to the fray, and very, very cool. Doing a lot more for the Hex Token channel members as well. So look forward to that. It's going to be really good. Benny says it's got good vibes going. Hey, Benny, good to see you. And Nicholas is in the house as well. Hey, mate, new Axiom tokenomics will bring Axiom to the next level. Just love it. Last days of cheap prices. Yeah, that's right. I do agree with that. So you can check out my Axiom token channel if you want to check more about Axiom. Very, very cool, Nicholas. Brazoli says, woohoo! Hey, Brazoli, go check it out. I love it. Brazoli is always so positive. So a big shout out to you, Brazoli, for sure. Super Sticker, woohoo! Pulse Marketing Team, Hex Token channel member and a Super Sticker. I do appreciate that. As a YouTuber, it's always a bit of fun to get some Super Stickers, so I do appreciate it. Thanks again for the shout out. Nice, nice, nice. So as I say, I run quite a few YouTube channels in the crypto space, and I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way of interacting with people. Yeah, big shout out to all of you out there. Nicholas says you should do interview with Crypto Heartbeat, bro. Says Crypto Heartbeat, nice one. And I've just got a few jumping around here. And yeah, no, the Crypto Heartbeat's out there doing the big interviews now. I mean, they're really big, so it's great to see that stuff. So very nice. Andrew says, hey, legends. Hey, Andrew, good to see you. And Hex Hodl's in the house. No shilling of crap coins here, man, says Hex Hodl. Well, they're alternative coins, so there is crypto's full of thousands of tokens. So you can get out and do that. Hex Hodl says, PulseChain, PulseX. That's right. You guys, you won, guys, but I love it anyway. Says Nicholas, nice one. And Frank says, damn, hit the like. I like that as well. So Ryan says, agree, T-shares are going to be so expensive that you should grab them now. Hey, that's a good point, Ryan. I say it in all the daily update videos, don't I? I talk about the T-shares. And the fact is that look at that Hex payout per T-share looking so good, pretty much over 6 all the time now. It's only going to go up and to the right. And people got to, if you haven't seen the projection videos done by the Crypto Spa book guys, I have got a snippet of their video on this channel. Check that out. Because that Hex per T-share is going to take people by storm. People, obviously, the other day we saw 250 Hex increase per T-share just on that one day, and we're going to get more of those kind of things happening. So, just folks, the T-share rate is going to keep going up. All those, we've got different time for Hex OGs. So we've seen the Hex OGs with 2-year stakes that staked at the beginning. They took a leap of faith. They turned maybe 20,000 into 15 million, something like that. That sort of thing. Some of them have sold some of their stuff down. Then we have got another type of Hex OG that has got rolling stakes. So they've got stuff rolling every 30 days, 60 days. We see a lot of those. And then we've also got the long-term Hex OG stakers that are staked right out, with the average years like 7 to 10 years in their stakes. So they're staked out, like Cream the Dream and all those kind of people staked out. So you've got all that range of the Hex OGs. Plus you've got, since that time, you've got all the big payday Hex OGs, and then you've got all the Hex OGs coming in. So you've got it's still early, right? So this is still early days, and then it's just expanding out there. But slowly the tokens are spreading out amongst more people, and that's what you want to see as time goes on. So very, very cool. The share rate, which is my main point leading back to that, is that is actually making those people in that second category that are rolling their short stakes, they're actually getting less T-shares as time goes by. So that's pretty cool. So you see the functionality of Hex is actually working. And we're still early though, so we've still got, like I said yesterday, maybe another year or two to ride out some of those things, and it could happen even faster, depending on the big new whales coming into space, and the retail virality that will determine the acceleration of that. Plus the fact that we're splitting Hex into 2 tokens essentially, Hex on PulseChain, Hex on Ethereum, but we have the economic energy on both of those chains. So that kind of offsets that split as well. And of course, with PulseChain, it's going to be just expanding. As I say, it's going to be a bit like the crypto apocalypse for a lot of other chains, and yield farming. Let's not forget that, and potentially NFTs markets as well, which we don't talk too much about. But obviously, NFT is one of the big three driving forces for the fact that congestion's on Ethereum at the moment, driving up those costs, which we don't enjoy when we're over there. And so that's just the way it is. So PulseChain is going to help solve all that. It's going to be pretty exciting. And Richard Hart looks upbeat. He looks very happy in the last couple of live streams and with the progress. So that's boding well for, like I say, the only issue that we have is operational risk until the point it goes live, and then it's all about value, mass adoption, and all that sort of stuff, which is going to be, I think, the fastest mass adoption in crypto history. It's going to be huge, and expecting hundreds of thousands to just ramp up very fast. It's going to be crazy good, and a lot of people are going to be trying to hold on to the wild horses, as it were, but it's going to be racing, galloping off, and it's going to be fun to see that play out too. All right, let me get back in the chat here. We got Frankly's in there, big thumbs up, and Bob Farder's in the house. Hey, Hex all day. That's right, Hex all day. And Francia's in the house. Hey, Francia, glad you can make it. And hello, Hexkin. Woohoo! Katana TV's in the house. Hey, Katana TV. Woohoo! Good to see Katana TV in the house. Good to see you. And Hex Total says, I retracted my message. He can buy all the altcoins he wants. Yeah, I think it's just the kind of attitude it's best to have. Just be open-minded, and if you pick the best horse, you pick the best horse. It's a bit like that. It's going to the races. In fact, I've never actually been to the races to actually place a bet on a horse, but I'm sure that if you picked up, imagine if you just, I guess some of you out there have done it. You may have randomly gone to the races. Maybe it's something you don't typically do, and you picked a horse and it won. That would be a pretty cool story to go back back to the family with or something. Very cool. Craig says, woohoo! Hey, Craig, good to see you. Another great to see a moderator in the chat there too. And Brennan says, buy those cold wallets before you stake. Safety first, folks. Yeah, good advice, Brennan. Safety first. Now, I think we saw today we got 2 million in penalties for the closing day 779, and I think that we saw. I think that was a wallet must have been compromised in some way because their stakes got basically closed out like 300 days out of 5,000 days or something. It was really, I think it was another wallet was compromised, and that's how we got our penalties today, which is unfortunate. So I don't see any rational person burning their stakes like that. So it looks like it was compromised. When people get into a compromise, well, they may know enough about the fact that there's hex staking around. They may do a little bit of research. They find it out. They try and interact with it. They understand how the share rates work. That's typically what happens. So they just burn the stakes, thinking they're going to get that hex out. But of course, if they're staked long, they're just basically destroying all that value. So I do feel for that one. It's just, so once again, back to security. Do take care of yourself with the security there as well. Never put your seed phrase into a website or anything, or if someone contacts you pretending that they're acting as help desk or something like that, Richard Hart helpline or something like that. Don't put your seed phrase in anything, right? So that protect those as much as you can. So yeah, definitely a way to go. Brendan says keep Papa Bona happy. Yeah, that's right. So that's a pretty funny, hilarious reference there. Piston says awesome program. Thanks for your effort, mate. Hey, Piston, appreciate it. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm a Hex OG from the beginning. I did all the AA lobbies. It was super fun. I actually had a crypto channel covering that. You did referrals on Hex at the beginning, but unfortunately, a lot of our Hex Hex channels back then got actually part of the crypto purges on YouTube. So it's good to see that that's not happening these days. But yeah, we were back there. A lot of us were back there at the beginning promoting Hex. Unfortunately, we didn't really survive. If you've seen Hexologist, he actually moved those to DLive to really grow the Hex brand. Which is pretty cool. Goldman says, yeah, woohoo, yeah, good, absolutely. And Murky says 19 cents seeming to hold really well. Yeah, there, that battle line. So if we go to the chart here on the Hex line, the short-term support line, that's the one we've had for ages on this chart, right? That seems to be holding pretty well. And I really didn't think we're going to get down to 13.5. That would be actually quite negative on the Hex price in my view. Although when the price is cheaper, means whales can buy up a lot more. So it's not like it's the end of things, because if the cheaper it is, the whales will just come in and go, yep, thanks, I'll take more, I'll take it all. And so that's what you're seeing. But as we get confidence, we know that charts of confidence, projects with confidence, that's what you want. They're the ones that that really start to move up the price curve there. So yeah, looking pretty good. This actually, I mean, this looks so similar. If you look at it, it's kind of like a big one of this one, right? So you've got the big one, and then sort of maybe a little zigzag, maybe the big one there goes all the way down there, and then you got this one here. It kind of looks like a lot like this one, doesn't it? And it looks like this one. They look quite kind of similar, don't they, in the pattern? So fairly, not exactly the same, but similar. And of course, this here looks pent up. We'll really reckon we're in a pretty hot zone. I have been saying it for a little while, but of course, it's always subject to Hex OG selling, because I'm very well aware, as you guys are too, that if a Hex stake comes out after 2 years and they've gone from $20,000 to $10 million, you know they're going to sell some, right? They want to get some of that US dollar fiat maybe into their bank account in Colorado or somewhere, who knows, and they might be buying themselves a new Tesla or something, I don't know, a 4-wheel drive, who knows. So this is the way it goes. So you do have to absorb those selling. Now, Big Pep did a nice video today on the Pareto, was it a Pareto chart or something like that, with showing how people have, the OGs have 10 million Hex stake versus 1 million versus 100,000, and just how that sort of psychology plays out. So it was a pretty good video from Big Pep on that one. If you haven't checked that out, go do it. So pretty good. Let us get into some. Nicholas says, do you prefer Pulse or PulseX? I think I've moved in favor of PulseX for the time being, in the short term, and Pulse in the medium long term. That's kind of been my position. Pulse Marketing says, hey, nice to see your little Hex Token channel member badge there, Pulse Mark. Don't forget to check out some of the emojis there, Pulse Marketing. 1000%, Brennan. I got hacked a year ago for huge amounts. Still water makes me feel sick. Yeah, it does. So really do protect your stuff, folks. Don't interact with strangers on the internet, or websites, or false service desks, or spam emails, comments inside the chat. Really do protect yourself out there, especially if you're new to crypto, particularly if you're new. Business M2K's in the house. Hey, Business M2K, great to see you. Whoop. And a big likes up there from Red Nopes in the house as well. Hey, good to see a lot of popular names around that I have seen many times. Murky says, also make sure your MetaMask isn't connected to any weird smart contracts with unlimited withdrawal amounts. That is so true. Unlimited draw amounts, you just make sure you don't have those. You can check that when you do transactions interact. You can actually edit and make sure that's not unlimited, because that could be really, really bad, particularly if you're in an app or dApp that you haven't used before, or that you know it's not one of the mainstream ones in particular. So definitely very good stuff. We have seen compromises of that. A friend of mine fell into that trap, unfortunately, interacting with a well-known DEX swapping feature, and it had that as well. Crypto Pace is great show, mate. Just love it. Hey, Crypto Pay, appreciate that. Big shout out to you. I got the rest of my drink left, so cheers. Pulse Marketing team says, wow, 44 watching, 41 likes. Nice. Hey, great stuff. I appreciate the likes there. Smash the subscribe, hit the like, and trying to head towards 3,000 subscribers. I think we're getting close to 2,700. So just going to keep going. We've got a long way to go. 15 years staking is a long way to go. So we've got a long way to go there, folks. All right. So David Greenwood says, Murky is right. Check your authorizations. Absolutely. And Stakehead says, shout out for the sacrifice for freedom of movement and aka liberty, the maximum absent of coercion. Hey, I'm so with you on that, Stake Text. You know me on this channel. The freedom is so important, and we see that a lot of a lot of governments are trying to take that away. So definitely do what you can peacefully to protect your freedoms. It's very most important. Brendan says, sorry to hear that Pulse Marketing team get back up on the horse, friend, mate. Yeah, absolutely. And hey, I think that you've come across the biggest progress stuff there as well, because obviously PulseX and Hex the golden products in crypto. It's going to be so much fun. So at least you've come to the right place to get your recovery in the house. Reno says again, yep, and yeah, Marky, just watched a video where scammers give themselves rights to withdraw, kinda where you don't see it when you sign off. Yep, you got to be careful of that too. Yeah, always make sure you sign off your sign out of your address. Don't interact with weird websites that might get keyboard loggers and all sorts of stuff like that. So take care. Big heart out there. And Pulse Mark says thanks, Brennan. Merky, a lot of people wallets get drained because they don't understand how smart contracts works. You could sign it and give full permission to withdraw in the future without knowing. Absolutely. That is huge. So just take care. It's always good to spend a bit of time learning about security as well. So watch a few videos, try and pick up your knowledge in that space. That was it, Murky. Let me look at team exactly. You can use the website to check your wallet to see if it's got any open smart contract limits. Yeah, you can. You just got to make sure that that site is good too, eh, Murky? So you got to find a site that people. I think there's a couple. I think Ethereum actually has one on the Ethereum Explorer. I think that actually has a checker for limits on there. Pulse Marketing Team says, Murky, I saw a video about that. Thanks. Let me just jump over to Ryan says, I'm so thankful the best Ethereum gas fees occurred during the first 10 days of PulseX Sacrifice. The gas is outrageous right now. Oh, that's a good observation. Man, the gas fees on Ethereum have been ridiculous. And of course, it just gives even a better ongoing case for PulseChain. And I don't think ETH 2.0 is going to come to save the day. I think hopefully it will help reduce it a little bit, because obviously everyone with Hex stakes or any other staking stuff that you're using on Ethereum, you want it to be cheaper at the moment. So definitely it's the case. I saw somebody in the Wise token chat saying, they had a $500 withdrawal fee, and of course the value of their stake was $500. So they were freaking out about that. I did suggest to them to try and unstake that on Sundays between 1 and 3 a.m. UTC time, typically the best time for lower gas fees. But lately, even that day, like last Sunday, even that wasn't good. So you just got to try and hunt those low ways if you are doing anything around staking smart contract stuff. So it's definitely something to think about. Reed Nope says, nutty, precisely just like the boxing referee says, protect yourself at all times. That's right. I like that. It reminds me of a Rocky movie, to be honest. Beatbops, yep, and it's crypto market ready to explode or not yet? So I think that PulseChain is about to explode. I'm not sure what the rest of the crypto market's going to do. Certainly had a pretty solid pullback. I don't think it's full bear yet. Of course, not full bear. Is that the right word, full bear? I don't know. No milky money yet, but tomorrow is payday. Okay, so the Federal Reserve is making its call next week, so that's something to keep an eye on. That may or may not affect the crypto market a lot, so watch out for that next week. Yeah. Are you Hex OG? Did you do an interview with Richard Hart? Nicholas says, I guess Richard Hart. No, I don't know. Not many people have done interviews with Richard Hart. Typically, they're YouTube personalities or big personalities in crypto. Crypto Posters, can you please show us a squiggle? Hey, that was I know that you love that one, that Crypto Pay, that squiggle that I did on the chart, but that was just, my hand was just not controlling the squiggle on that day. But Crypto Pay is not going to let me let go of that one. Nice one, I like it. It's 2.0, 5 years to go or more, said Vitalik. Yeah, that roadmap's ridiculous. I'm going to actually cover a video on that roadmap. It was pretty crazy. He's living in La La Land if he thinks that that's good blockchain. Remember, a couple of years back he said that fees shouldn't be too high and all that. And look, now he's silent. Well, the fees are ridiculous. So unfortunately, you can be a genius for so long, and obviously you're still a genius, but your genius in business has gone down the Googler there. E2.0 will be an additional pump mentor for Hex. Bring it, yeah, absolutely. And whoop, says M2K. Hey, awesome stuff. So there we are. Got through most of the chats there, and we are 21.5 cents. Not too bad for the day as well. Let's have a look at the hourly chart. Look, that's not too bad. We had a big buy here, which was nice after getting down pretty low, 9.5 cents or something, 9.6 cents. So we're kind of, I don't know if I take it from this is a bit of I reckon this fall down here was probably a bot. So I haven't actually checked that, but probably was a bot. Let's have a look. Bot trade, that is, I'm talking about. So we're up about 10%, so not bad from 19.6 as well. Let's go to the daily and let's have a look couple of the TA stuff here. We're going to pull our triangle out there, and my triangle changed. I'm not sure what's happened to my triangle there. It seems to have gone off a bit in the top of the chart there. So we've still got quite a bit of time for the PulseX Sacrifice. So all this time here, let's do the old old check on that. So you know, we've still got 35 days, so it's still just over a month. So anything can happen here. I am expecting a breakout here, especially if Richard gets even more bullish with his updates. As everything, those last updates were fantastically bullish for PulseChain, and so if that keeps continuing, still expecting the arch up here. So let's get our squiggly lines in. Squiggly lines. Let's get our squiggly lines. I'm going to put this one. So we are going to get this. We are going to get this move at some stage. And it looks like we are possibly building once again. It's those Hex OGs though, man. That's the wild card. So definitely we're going to get something happening here, but we may be even higher up here. So actually it's going to go way higher. I think it's going to be pretty strong, but we just don't know. We've got 35 days to see that happen. And it's inevitable when we get the block height called out, and because people want to get all their copies, got to make sure they're in there. It's going to get pretty bullish for Hex. Also, with the chain launching. So those are the two big catalysts for me. It's going to be pretty epic. So that's as early as March is my guess, based on the PulseX Sacrifice, just a logical follow-on. Richard did say that the block height was going to be around pretty much at mainnet, so give or take, it's got to be in here somewhere as well. So cool. Let's get into the PulseX Live and go for the results. Let's have a look. Here we go. All right, so 938.7 million on ETH chain. There's ETH only. There's PulseX.com. Now, all the links are in the video description, unless it's a presentation, and I typically don't put those in there. We're increased by 5%. We've got 20 hours and 20 hours and 13 minutes to go. There we are. Sometimes I speak faster than my mind speaking, and then I botch it up, so I apologize for that. All right, so or something, or vice versa, whatever. So 10,000 points per $1.71 is what it is at the moment, which I think is still pretty good rate, right? If you look at the bonding curve here, and so once it gets into the middle here, you know, $5, $10 up to here. So I still think that this is still pretty good territory at the moment as well. So especially if you're topping up, you've got a high, it's already got a good multiplier. Typically now you probably need a multiplier based if you've got like 350 grand or something, you get over 10,000 points still, maybe 400 grand. So it's starting to get higher already, but that's probably the way to go there as well. So nice. Now I wanted to highlight the best thing in here, of course, not the best thing, there are many good things, but something that I think is very, very cool is the PulseX is awesome, and that's all you need to know. But besides that, you know, 21% of this 0.29 fee could be used to buy and burn, and that's pretty neat to see that. That's going to be pretty awesome. You know, we could get 500,000 buy and burn a day, 1 million buy and burn a day. I think it's going to be towards the high end of the numbers. So I really do think that PulseChain is going to devastate some other chains just quietly. I think it's going to be quite the uptake, the adoption is going to be very fast and steep and long, is the way I see it. So yeah, I think that's pretty bullish as well. So nice. I just want to point that out as we go to PulseX.info. If you want to do a sacrifice, this is the link here, the official DApp. So PulseX.info. And once again, if you're doing Ethereum or any Ethereum compatible chain, most people, you know, I mean, basically, you know, the majority of sacrifices are to this ETH address here. You can use it on any of those chains there. There's some of the popular sacrifices that people are sacrificing. If you want to use some of the other chains, UXTO ones, the Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, any of these other chains, Ripple, Tron, then you just follow the instructions down here. You can paste your Ethereum wallet, get it tagged to your sacrifice, and you can also connect your Web3 wallet. And of course, just follow the steps 2 and 3 if you're doing the other tokens. Otherwise, it's very simple. You just use a send function to send your sacrifice to this address. If you're doing it on Polygon or Binance Smart Chain, something like that, it's going to be super cheap. Obviously, Ethereum is expensive relatively. I mean, you know, $10 or something. I don't know. It's going to probably cost you maybe 15 if it's really bad. So yeah, let's jump over to PulseX and update this again. I'm just going to update this one more time as we move forward. So we're going to get into the live results now for PulseX, and then we're going to jump into the results for day 22 and see what that was. All right, here we go. Waiting for it to render. This does render on my new iMac faster, so that's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to using that possibly tomorrow, as looks like the case. All right, so here we are, 979.5 million US dollars on, this is Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain combined now, and that's been the case since yesterday. So very, very cool. Let's have a look at the results. So we've still got 7 wallets over 10 million with the sacrifice. Very nice. And then, of course, to get in the top 100, you need 1,037,220. So it's pretty nice to see that on the hundreds there. Let's check out the top 500. And let's have a look. We're going to scroll down just a little bit more here. Going to find out how many millionaires we've got on here. We've got 111 millionaires on there. So I think that's up one or two. Up one or two, but it's hard to tell because we had a Binance Smart Chain on there. So I think we might be up to two there. So cool. Let's have a look at the top 500. Let's have a look there. Top 500, you need, so this has actually climbed a little bit. Actually, it's climbed quite, it's going up by maybe $1,000 or something. Top 500, you need 203,400 to get in the top 500. So very, very cool. Let us go to the top 1,000. And of course, we're sitting over 100,000 the other day. Yep, so 100,665. There probably has been less movement once you get down here. You probably get some of the higher wallets sacrificing a bit more, and some of the very smaller wallets possibly sacrificing a bit more. Once we move past that 10,000 points per dollar. So very, very cool. So 1,000 people. Remember, this 1,000 wallets also controls probably something like 75%, 70% of the total PulseX tokens. But don't worry about that, folks, because if you're not in that top 1,000, because these provide a lot of economic energy to the valuations to start off before PulseChain even opens up to the mass adoptions of potentially hundreds, thousands, potentially in the low millions of people coming into adopt. So very, very cool. They actually do the buy. Some of these people are selling, some of these people are buying. So that's just to kick it off, and then of course you get all the people coming in through the bridge, and man, oh man, oh man, all these people, early adopters. So you've got all those mechanisms going on there to improve value. So it's going to be pretty cool. All right, let's get on to the top 5,000. See what that is. We're going to scroll down. I think we're pretty high. We're up like $19,000 yesterday, top 5,000. So we'll see where we are now. $19,369. So very, very cool. Hey, that 369 there, that's Richard's favorite number, 3.69%. So there we are. So there's a little joke there, but anyway, 5,000. So pretty amazing. And as I said a couple times now, a lot of people thought maybe if they had like 7,000, maybe 7,000, they might get in the top 5,000. But it is a spectacular sacrifice at the moment with 19,369 and bottom 5,000. Now there is 111,000 wallets now in total. Amazing. And of course, Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, pretty cool. 111,000. You can see there's such a good base of wallets, and obviously some people have more than one wallet, but you can see that there's quite a large number of people involved already. And of course, when that bridge opens on PulseChain, and everyone on Ethereum that's not even sacrificed for this, the news is going to spread like wildfire. They'll be coming over that bridge pretty thick and fast, and it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun indeed. All right, so let's have a look at the overall stats here for the top tokens. As I said in the daily vid, we're up to 550 million on Hex Sacrifice. That's spectacular, and that's 2,147,000,000 Hex Sacrifice. 2,147,000,000 Hex Sacrifice, and by my quick rough estimates, it's about probably 7.5% of circulating supply, give or take. So that's pretty outstanding. We've got ETH number 2, 223 million. USDC over that 100 million. That's pretty mean as. I like that number. USDT at 37.8, and then followed by the Binance Smart Chain with BUSD 15.8, BNB 13.4, 7.1 on the USDT. The tether there, and 5.4 million on the DAI. So those are top 10, folks, and the Binance Smart Chain is 3 out of those. It's pretty cool. Other strong outperformers there, obviously Matic, Wrap Bitcoin, Shiba, Link there, USDC, Wise, and Uni, and Cake in there as well. So the list goes on with a lot of very well-known popular projects. So very cool to see that as well. I guess if you consider something significant, it might be something over 500,000. So Ethereum there, Crow, yeah, GUSD. So pretty cool. Let us go and check out the results for day 22. We're going to jump over to the stats page to see that. and we're going to scroll down here. So day 22, this is the sacrifice per day, and day 22 is $6.4 million, just underneath that, 6,372,000. That's a pretty good day in the office, I think, as well. So very cool. The previous day was 3.67 million. So definitely a very good result there. That brings the total, of course, for day 22 to from 972 million point 6 up to 979. So that was a pretty good day. And obviously at the moment, the chart is showing that we're currently up about almost $500,000 already. So that's pretty cool. And of course, we've got about 20 hours to go. So $500,000 already, about 20 hours to go. This includes Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, which are the main ones. But there's also, Bitcoin's been doing pretty well, as well as several of the other chains which we looked at. Was it yesterday? I think, or was it the day before we did the billion? I think it might have been yesterday. We did the billion. I can't remember now. It's starting to fade into the past, but there we are. All right, let us. We're going to jump over to. Let me just push this away over here. We're going to jump over to PulseChain. So I wanted to jump over to PulseChain just briefly, just to highlight a couple of things if you haven't used it. So this is PulseChain.com, and so we jumped away from PulseX now to PulseChain.com. And of course, there are a couple of cool things on here. If you haven't played around with them, you can do that. There's the Faucet to get some test pulse if you want to play it on the PulseChain TestNet 2.0. And of course, you can stake them here with the validators. This is all pretend, of course, just to test out the Pulse chain, but you got to stake them with the to earn yield. Now this is the thing that's on top of the Ethereum code with the validators and staking there. So you can do that. I think the last time I checked there was 27 validators playing around there on the testnet. Last time I checked, and of course there's going to be 33 when a Pulse chain goes live. Now I've heard a couple of other community people wanting to set one. I think Discord Syndicate is going to set one up with David Ferreira, and there's I think Hex Staker app with Steph team. They're going to look to try and set up a validator as a community validator through there. So if you haven't got Staker app, you can find the link in the video description below. You can sign up there. You can view only your Ethereum stakes, so you can put your Ethereum wallet in there, and you can either view only. It gives you everything, shows you all the stakes, the penalties if you want to early in stake, all that sort of stuff. The returns really is great, as well as some global statistics as well. So definitely get that. You can also set up a smart wallet and participate through their system, and they do weekly prizes for people who stake 5555 days through their with their weekly prizes on the Staker app there using the smart wallet. So you can set that up on there as well. And of course, they've got their SEC version 2 coming out probably in a week or two. I mean, it's pretty soon. That's going to look spectacular. I mean, these guys are doing some great work, not just with the functionality and the benefits, but also with the way it looks visually. It looks pretty exciting in some of the sneak previews. So Staker app is definitely something to get down. Over 100,000 people have downloaded that using that, so it's pretty popular, and I use it every day. I think everybody I know does, so that's pretty cool. Check it out. So you can do that. Very nice. And swap, they're also going to have Pulse Chain on there as well, not just Hex as well, so it's going to be cool. Pulse Chain Uniswap front end, you can play around with that too. You can swap tokens on the test net between Test Pulse and buy some stables, buy some Hex on there. Very, very cool. And of course, the Block Explorer, you can see the actual transactions happening on the Block Explorer, 3-second blocks, that sort of stuff. So definitely check that out if you're not familiar. Just encourage you to get to know the ecosystem a bit better if you haven't participated. The other side of it, of course, is we wanted to scroll down to some of the actual benefits of Pulse Chain. We haven't talked about this for a little while, so it's nice to come back to it every so often. But one of the things I want to point out was that PLS has zero inflation. That's part of the killer tokenomics that Richard's put into the system. And validator only earn fees, and 25% of the fees are burnt to reduce circulating supply. So just like we have a buy and burn in a PulseX, which is a magical buy and burn at the moment, we've got 25% of the fees are burnt here. So the system's quite is automatic is the way it's going to do to reduce circulating supply. So very, very cool. So there is a technical difference between the two, but that's going to be fantastic as well. Obviously, there's two benefits there. People can stake their Pulse with the validators. That gets Pulse off the market. And of course, there's a burning function that's going to burn over time. You got to remember that the initial value is going to be low though, because obviously it's going to be super cheap on PulseChain. So just take that into account. Good reference as Polygon. You can see the fees on there are relatively low, millions compared to the fees on Ethereum network, which we've already covered on this channel, which are not very, very, very high. So take that into account. So very, very cool. So I just wanted to point that out, of course. Now, this bridge, of course, is what's going to open up PulseChain to mass adoption. So not only is it going to start off with all the people that sacrificed, which I estimate maybe 100, 150,000 people get involved directly and indirectly through that, but also open it up to the millions of users on Ethereum, the hundreds of thousands of users on all the other yield farmings, respectively. And that is going to ramp up very fast. Obviously, they're all not going to be there just day one, but it's going to spread like wildfire, maybe like a dry wheat field, and the flame starts moving through. It's going to be like that. Really, it's going to be pretty fun to watch. And we're all here early, so we're going to sit back and enjoy it. And just enjoy the thing. It's going to be pretty cool. So looking forward to that. All right, so just want to briefly cover some of those key points there. Let's have a look at the timeline. Before we do that, I'm just getting it in the chat, make sure I'm not too far behind in the comment section here. We've got Nicholas. Are you an Hex original gangster or not? That is true, Nicholas. That is true. And one of the many original OG gangsters. Craig Wanning says really some really big stakes ending this month if they sell off. Look for a nice dip to go up some Hex soon before fork. Yeah, some of those were actually restaked from the end of December, so some of them are strategically placed. In fact, all the four candles before May have all been recently restaked. That includes the 28th of May one, which is about 500 million Hex, and the other ones at the end of January are similarly. They're all been replaced recently from the end of last year. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. The 500 million on the 28th of February, that's pretty interestingly placed. So we'll see what they actually do. Obviously they're not in the sacrifice and they're just restaking. So that's a lot of Hex. So we'll see. I imagine they're just going to roll a lot of that forward. We're going to see how that plays out. They may actually be playing for the Hex price rally. So we'll watch out for that too. So that could fit quite well into what you're saying there, Craig. And then of course we've only got the original big stake that was in the year in May. I think it was the 9th of May. That 1 billion candle, which has been there for a long time. So yeah, but they are starting to break up. And of course the T-share rate's helping as well. If the short stakers, as I said earlier, they're getting less shares, so it takes time. And of course, but we'll have to see all that behavior. Ideally, people just restake and push it out into the future, but we'll see. So it's still a bit of fun and games to going, but 2022 is starting to look really good from a supply side point of view, regardless of how many OG stuff's out there. Let's have a look here. So can't even imagine what is going to happen. The Ethereum atmosphere when PulseChain drops, the world has no idea what's about to happen. That is so true. Hex stake Hex, absolutely. Jamie's in the house. Hello. Hey, good to see you, Jamie. Typical of markets like oil, the bounce occurred in Bitcoin and ETH after hours is indicated of the market finding a bottom. The bull market in crypto will continue soon. PulseX will be in it. Yeah, I think we'll get more signs of that too after the Fed announcement next week as well. As we stack second still, yeah, I think that's still a good time to sacrifice. We go back to the old chain here. Look at this, still pretty good. Now, I haven't got actually the sacrifice table up today, but we've got the amount here, $1.71. So that's the way that goes. So yeah, still early days in my view. So nice, especially if you think that the price that PulseX is going to pump multiple X's, then that's still super cheap. Quantifiable correct says Hurry Cash will be the mix relayer on PulseChain, launching right away with Pulse, unlike Tornado Cash. Right. Might look into that. The sacrificed 9 times so far. Lol, I got to stop. Young Kim. Hey, that's nice. You're DCAing in. That's a good thing. You can't go wrong with that. And there will be an airdrop to all Pulse sacrifice address. All right, I'll check that out. Quantifiable. Oh yeah, the rates are not great anymore, but it's all to a good cause, lol. No, I still think the rates are still pretty attractive. If you think it's all about what you think X's are going to happen in the price, So yeah, obviously it's not comparable to getting $1. Certainly up 671% from there. StakeX says, this YouTube channel is the best in the business. Straight analytics, straight to the point, and checking the temperature of hexagons. Love it. I appreciate that, StakeX. So that's where I try to stay as much as possible. I'm going to bring a lot more stats and charts to the channel, by the way. That is coming up. 60% of PulseX sacrifices don't have PLS. They'd probably be right. So a lot of those people, looks like a lot of people are going to, we already seen that in surveys. We've done surveys on this channel. It's quite a strong amount of people wanting to do swap their PulseX for Pulse. So it's going to be interesting. So you got people swapping. That's before the bridge opens. So that'll be interesting in the ratios. Remember, I did say be careful about the ratios when it opens, because you could get tricked out with the value there. And of course, we won't have liquid loans up and running straight away. So that's going to have to wait for audits before it can launch, and also has to wait for prices. It needs prices of Pulse that it can put into its contract. So that's you're probably looking a couple of weeks into it at least, maybe 3-4 weeks before liquid loans launches, is my guess. Once that bridge opens up, it's going to go nuts. It is going to go nuts. It's going to go crazy. Really is cool. It's going to be crazy before the bridge opens up, with people swapping their sacrifice amounts. That's why you got to be careful with you swap your sacrifice amounts, because you could get on the bad end of the ratio swap, and just take, sometimes it's best just to do nothing. Just depends what your goals are. Once again, just saying that could go against you. Just got to be careful. Especially if you start to swap as well. All the best, all, and real supply is like 5% of the total. Yep. And Pump says, Reno, Tuffrin's in the house. Hey Tuffrin, good to see you. The money bags are here. Great to see you. And John Carrera's in the house. Hey John, good to see you. Hey bro, thank you for your update. Awesome bro, appreciate it. Hey John, appreciate it, and thanks for your support on the channel as a Hex Token channel member. And Canopes got the thumbs up for that one. Simon Ridley says, do you know of possible stable coins on Pulse? Yeah, well, we do. Liquid Loan is going to have one. USDL is going to be there. Obviously, the copies will be copied over from Pulse, from Ethereum, and we're going to all find out what the market values those at. Obviously, when the bridge opens, we're going to have other tokens coming on. So if that's what you mean by that, Richard has talked about doing a stable coin. I think in the past, I think I've got that on a roadmap. Just let me pull that up. I think a Richard Hart stablecoin. It's good because with the liquid loans one, it's going to be backed by Pulse, so it's actually going to be over collateralized. So that's what you want. You want something that's collateralized quite strong. Ideally, they don't, and it's decentralized as well. So DAI's decentralized. Centralized ones are USDC, USDT, and they're not always. They don't have proper audits. You don't know if they're fully backed by dollar to dollar, real dollars in the US. So crypto does work in mysterious ways. Let's put it that way. And often fractionally backed. So yeah, look at. Yeah, so Richard was looking at trying to get his exchange through, and I think he was, if I remember right, he was trying to do that. I think he's had a little bit of setbacks on that, but he was going to have stablecoin via that too. So we'll wait. That's stuff on Richard's roadmap. I'm sure he's not going to give up on that stuff. Seems to be the case. So nice. Let us jump away. Where were we? We're at the timeline here. So what have we got? It's got a couple of stuff here going. Obviously, we're in PulseChain TestNet 2.0. So let's have a look at the number of days we've been in that. We were 77 days in PulseChain TestNet 1. And of course, now we're currently, we'll see on that one, we're currently day 39 on PulseChain TestNet 2. Day 39, so definitely getting up there. I've got it running through to the 24th now. I have extended that from the previous one. We just don't know. We've got a question mark there. And of course, we're expecting PulseChain TestNet 3 to happen. We've got question marks over that too. We know it's, Richard's only indicated it's going to be short. What does that mean? 2 weeks? I don't know. And on the 16th of December, he said, yes, there will be another testnet with balances written and an AMM bot run. So expecting that. Some other things, of course, is around the DAO. Expecting some news around that in the next couple of days. around the PulseX DAO, so stuff like that. Everything that's going well so far on the PulseChain TestNet 2 is going very well. The good go.hex, we've covered that on this channel the last, say, 3 or 4 live streams. We've done staking, unstaking and lots of stuff on go.hex, which is basically the hex staking on PulseChain, but in the testnet environment. Uniswap front end, we've done those trades on here as well, shown those many times, maybe a couple of weeks back. The bridge, of course, we're expecting that to come out too. So maybe some tokenomics around the DAO and PulseX will work, expecting that to come out, and also the bridge, expecting that to go public. So it's working on the PulseChain testnet. So those are the 2 big new pieces of news that we're expecting maybe within the next couple of days, based on Rich's last live streams. So looking forward to that. And obviously PulseX has been tested on there as well. And so we've got ticks on all those. The fiat on ramp is going well for the credit card apparently, but I had no news on that since. And so yeah, that's where we're at. So 2 pieces of news around the DAO, the bridge, and of course the AMM bot running on PulseChain TestNet 3. So we're waiting to see news around that. So still a bit to go, but moving pretty well with the MVP, or minimum viable product. This is the release, and Richard said it would be gradual, and it has been gradual, and it's been, fairly good pace, so we are looking pretty good ultimately. The snapshot, of course, I expect somewhere between the end of the PulseX Sacrifice, the 25th of February, and potentially the launch of a mainnet that could be as early March. I got 4th or 5th here, but it may take 3 or 4 weeks after this, right? It may take 3 or 4 weeks to get everything lined up and get the distributions up. So it could be possibly the beginning of April, end of March or something like that. So those were the popular things. Remember, we did our poll over 1,000 people. 53% thought March, and about 18% of people thought April. So definitely just depends on the lineup there, but definitely I think it's getting more likely that we won't get too far past this March-April period for a launch. So that's pretty positive. And obviously in March we've also got the Maddie Allen's Hexpo in Vegas. 600 people. It's going to be pretty awesome, and that's just getting way bigger than last year. Like I said, I think next year we could get 2,000 or 3,000 people. It's going to be pretty cool. And of course, we've got lots of good stuff happening with Funding Jim doing his thing, Hexscale doing their thing, other private investment vehicles doing their thing, and potentially other conferences to traditional finance and stuff going on. So it's really, really cool. And obviously, this big blue long line. I haven't talked about this before, but obviously, well, not directly, but it's basically the highest of stakes film documentary, moving well into the future, expected to at this stage be about January 2023 to launch. That'll be a film documentary, but I'm expecting other stuff in between that, so looking very cool. And the other positive thing, obviously, is we have a lot more promoters on YouTube and other platforms, and a lot more female promoters, which has been pretty cool. And they're getting a lot of support from the community, so that bodes well for reaching new audiences, new demographics, and that's very exciting to see. All right, let us jump over to see the wrap up. I like to bring up this. This is basically just to show what's being built out here. Very, very cool. We've got savings with Hex. We've got the exchange with PulseX Uniswap. We've got the network platform with PulseChain. And of course, Ethereum's worth is very valuable. And no doubt PulseChain will be righteously valuable as it moves to world domination and crypto. And of course, we've got the incentive token there too. Biggest airdrop in history, PRC20s. And of course, the biggest yield farming in crypto history with PulseX. And this is the close system. Expect that to be closed for 1 or 2 days while the AMM bot harvests all the Uniswaps like Uniswap and SushiSwap and stuff. And we could end up with just thousands and thousands of trading pairs, huge liquidity, printing money out of nothing. That's what crypto does. And then people interact with it and make that real. That's pretty much how it works. And so very, very cool. That's the closed system. And then after a day or two, you got a chance to swap your PulseX for a bit of Pulse if that's what you want to do, or whatever you're going to trade for. And then the bridge will open, and then all heck will hell will break loose. And we'll probably have multiple bridges, cross-chain bridges pop up not too far along there. That's my guess. Looks like there's going to start with obviously ETH, Hex, stable coins, stuff like that. So and that's going to give extra, once the stable coins have come in, it's going to get extra strength to the liquidity markets in terms of the US dollar numbers as well, rather than just having ratios, having US dollar prices too. And it's also going to be, obviously the wild card is the PRC20 copies, or of the stable coins. That's going to be the wild card. We'll see what happens with that. And then, of course, we're expecting that fiat gateway, and we do know that there's a credit card one coming. So that's pretty neat. And so I got lending over here. This is like the lending or bank, and of course, that's liquid loans. Basically, you're not leveraging. Borrowing debt. You're actually collateralizing your assets. So you're borrowing on your asset value, a bit like you would borrow against your house, as opposed to buying a loan from somebody not having a house and going and doing something with that. So not too bad, pretty cool. So we're going to get into that. So let us jump over to liquid loans. That leads us into there. Before we do that, let's catch up with some of the comments in the chat. I don't get too far behind. Hey, don't forget, welcome everybody. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. Get into the chat, folks. We really do like that. It's pretty nice. Nicholas says, there is any day on Hex history when there was no penalties from stakers at all. I'm not sure. I could check that. I don't recall seeing a no penalty day, but I could easily check that. I might check that, Nicholas. It's probably an interesting query. Woohoo! Just got in. Says Brownie. I'm all for another live stream late night. Hey Brownie, good to see you. Glad you could make it too. And Steve Wright says, have been in Woodlands, Texas, last few days. A lot of excitement for PulseX. Voted the #1 city to live in the United States last year. Hey, Texas is the place to go. I see a lot of people are exiting California and New York. Going to those states of Texas and Florida and stuff. It's a no-brainer, really, I guess, given what's happening in those cities. Nicholas says, why some D-system, the increase on T-share pump over 200 hex on a day, and another day still on 0. It's because of the fact that you got big stakes coming out from Hex OGs that get really good returns, and they're like 2 years old, and then, of course, that bumps up it gets calculated in the T-share rate, and it pushes it up giant. That's pretty much it. Crypto by Night says, love your work. This is the best channel to stay excited about RH projects. Hey, Crypto by Night, appreciate that, and I am super excited. Everyone that knows me personally knows my passion for the Richard Heart project is huge. But I do like my general class of assets. I like is certificate of deposits. So I do cover other projects in that space. But I also think that Richard Heart's is at the very top. I think there's some other good ones, a couple other good ones, and I do talk about those, but I think the very top, a la creme, is the Richard Heart Golden product. So it's probably the way I like to do it. Nice one, Crypto Night. Nicholas Quantifiable says, I think it's how many early unstakes there were. That's true. And Hex, PulseX says, I'm checking in for my daily reward. Nice one. And Jamie says, woohoo! Thanks, bro, for your comment. Hey, Jamie, appreciate that. And StakeX says, bro, you going to Vegas? Let's link up. Hey, I wish I could, but unfortunately, there are limitations in this country now that we're under a certain authoritarian regime here. So there's limits to what I can do as StakeX. Otherwise, it would be a good idea. Alex says, woohoo! Yeah, that's right. So regardless of the political environment, you can still stay positive and upbeat. So that's what it's all about. Very, very cool. Let's get into liquid loans here. So obviously this is a third party. This is outside the ecosystem, but as I say, I do think it fits in quite logically into the ecosystem. Once again, interest free. This is interest free because you're borrowing. This contract is going to be immutable on the blockchain, and of course, it's going to be 0% interest free because you're borrowing against your own security. And I think that's pretty cool. There's a couple options in here too. This is the user interface. You basically deposit your Pulse, and you can withdraw USDL. Now, I think quite a bit of this is going to go on to buy PLS. And that's actually going to be another factor to push the price of PLS up. So I think that's pretty positive. But the main thing I want to talk about here was some of the strategies. So we're going to, this is what you can do. You can create a loan. You don't have to deposit your Pulse in here, but you can get USDL. People typically talk about doing a 10% loan, which is relatively safe. You'd need like over a 90% pullback in the price of PLS to get liquidated. But you can also earn PLS and loan by putting your USDL in the stability pool. So let's say that you didn't actually sell your, let's say the price of, you didn't actually sell, you don't actually spend your USDL, then you would have, and the price of Pulse went down, you could actually then, not only would you have to cover your collateral, but you could actually then buy more Pulse too potentially. But the easy way is that you could actually, a lot of people will be borrowing this and then buying more Pulse and driving up their volumes times price. And we talked about that with the haunted strategy. But the other thing is that people can just earn on the platform and play the long game. And of course, you just get USDL, you put it in the stability pool, and you're going to receive PLS and receive loan. Your PLS you can recycle back in and lower your collateral level. And so there's lots of stuff you can do around there. Also, you can once you receive your loan token, which is the dual tokens. Remember, there's the stable coin USDL, which is backed by the PLS, and then the received loan token you can put in here, and you receive PLS and receive USDL from the fees. So pretty cool. And you can recycle the PLS back in. You can receive USDL and cycle that back into stability. So you don't actually, you could actually just, instead of spending USDL buying more Pulse, you could actually just put USDL in the stability pool and receive all these tokens and recycle that. So there's a second strategy that you can do there. The third strategy is you don't even have to invest in the project directly. In other words, put the PLS in. You could actually just buy USDL on the market and then deposit it into stability pool and then get the PLS and the loan. So there's a couple of strategies you can do there, and it's quite cool. There's a couple options you can do, and so it's going to be pretty amazing. But obviously if the people do the USDL and buy PLS, it's just another pump for PLS on top of normal market demand and supply. So I think that's kind of cool there. The ecosystem is pretty easy too. Obviously here, nice way of putting it. You get USDL, put it in a stability pool, start earning PLS and loan token. Put your loan token in, start earning USDL and PLS, and recycle it around. Like I say, there are at least 3 decent strategies there that you can do. Obviously, if you spend your USDL and there is some sort of flash crash in PLS price, then you wouldn't have anything to cover, and you may get liquidated in the worst case scenario. But that's particularly if you're low collateralized, like 110%. As opposed to being 1,000% collateralized, which is like borrowing 10% of your PLS value. But there's a couple of strategies there. I think actually probably the ecosystem looks pretty good for just getting the platform. They're also going to have a sacrifice that's going to be any day, and of course they're going to have a staking feature in that as well. A third component is going to be slightly different from normal sacrificing. The staking period is going to be like 2 years or something. You're going to get like a 2x or something. So there is some interesting upside there. Obviously, I think that stuff you can put into the system, but otherwise you're still getting a 2x on that. So that's coming out. I don't think that's been an update on that yet. 20 minutes. What happens with the majority of Pulse decide they are never selling? Obviously, if you've got your stuff collateralized, your Pulse in there, it's kind of like being staked. So you're actually another staking aspect for PLS, not just with the validators. So it's an alternative to the validators with the Pulse. I'm sure there's going to be other dApps that try to get people put their Pulse into those dApps coming up too. But pretty interesting stuff there. So. So nothing here so far on the sacrifice at this stage, but I understand that is due, shortly. Let's look at the Hedron quickly. So take advantage of your Hex security maturity, trade it, borrow against it, get free liquidity, mint your Hedron. So this is the stuff that's on at the moment. So if you've got an existing stake, you can do stuff with that. You can mint on that. You can also borrow Hedron. You can also, if you've got a new stake, you can make a new stake inside their contracts in what they call a stake instance. You can do that too. They've got the nice little flow charts here showing how that flows down. You've got borrowing, advancing, tokenizing in the NFT so that you can trade it. I believe this is just for new stakes though. You've got unminted Hadron and then mint Hadron, which is probably the main one if you've got existing stakes. Once again, as long as you're not, if you could mint your stuff, as long as you're not, it's not interrupting, putting your own staking contract at risk. In other words, getting it locked up, and maybe something goes wrong with the stuff, even after an audit, be my only concern. So I'm going to do more work around that myself, and that's pretty much it at the moment. So lots of stuff in here, of course, with this. And lots of details. We're going to go through this in more detail once I've gone through it in more detail. I've only done just a quick overview of it, just like many of you have. So once I go through it and have a good look, I'll get back to you on this one. We'll do a live stream on it for sure. I know that these are getting controversial. So you've got the people that get a bit wearisome, and I think you do have to do your own due diligence. But once again, my thing is that if you can do super well just with Richard Hart projects, just go with it. That's nice and simple, because we're all expecting some pretty awesome stuff just from Hex, PLS, and PLX, and potentially the incentive token as well. So you don't have to, if you're confused, getting worked up about it all, then just stay with Richard Hart. I mean, he's the winner. So winner chicken dinner, as we say. So nice. But I do think Liquid Loans off the bat offers something, and Hedron potentially offers a lot of free stuff potentially. But it's going to be interesting to see that you never have to sell your stakes. Both of these are kind of like you never have to sell your stakes. Your PLS, that is, you never have to sell your PLS, you never have to sell your Hex stakes, sell your Hex, you can pro against that. So it is some interesting, potentially value added stuff. So Hedron benefits the Hex ecosystem by further incentivized staking. So this is actually saying it's even encouraging staking. To mint the largest and most consistent amount of Hedron, stakers will have to stake larger quantities of Hex for longer periods of time. So it's got arguing for a big benefit there. It's got Hedron minting calculator. So let's say that you had 1 T share, which I guess is 1,000 P shares, and let's say you had that stake for 10 years, 3641. Let's say that you've served, was it 779 days, which is the day we just finished, and you got bonus days remaining. So let's say you start off at the top, you get in there first on the first 100 day. Let's calculate. Well, that's going to give you 40 million Hedron as an example. So that's pretty cool. So 40 million Hedron. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. The other thing I was going to say is that on this one, so far, Liquid Loans, I think, or both of them had pretty decent exposure online, but I think Liquid Loan's been because it's got a bigger team, whereas it's just one person around the Hedron from what I can see. And they've obviously got YouTube promoting for Liquid Loans and stuff like that. The actual Liquid Loans following here, this is the other thing. So not only does the idea have to be good, you have to have a big enough community involved with it, right? Obviously, the reason why PulseChain, a system state copy of PulseChain will work is because Richard Hart is a huge personality in crypto and only rising stronger and stronger all the time, and now at a faster rate. We've seen that happen on the social media, so it's starting to really bloom. You can, and like I said yesterday, you can wait till a PulseChain launches. Can you imagine how fast Richard's social media is going to rise? He's going to rise so fast with PulseChain coming out. It's going to be mad. That's another thing that we don't, that we're thinking about. So very, of course, there's 4,400 people so far following Liquid Loans on Twitter as one indication. I've just got other social platforms, but it's just one of them, as opposed to Hedron, which I think's got 1,900. So let's just check the Twitter on Hedron. So Hedron's just catching up a little bit there. Obviously, there's also Hex stakers versus PulseChain. PulseChain audience, which we know the PulseChain audience is bigger, and so yeah, he's got 957 followers on there so far. But these things can change pretty quickly with numbers, and once again, we're waiting for the Liquid Loans to launch their sacrifice. Obviously, that's not going to go live maybe 3-4 weeks after PulseChain goes launch live, because they need prices to be able to reference their contracts with for Pulse. And of course, Hedron, I think, is going to go live before the end of the month, 31st of January, and that's on the ETH chain, and then on the Pulse chain is the way that's going to look. So I do understand it is quite expensive to mint. I think at first, I think it's at least $300, $400 or something. I can't remember the exact number, but that's something else to take into account as well. But there's the flowchart. So we're Hexkins. We like flowcharts. We think the rest of you too want to know how Hedron integrates with Hex. Now you do. So cool. The other thing, of course, is most of the teams are doxed. There's no secret person sitting in behind it. So that adds a bit of more confidence to it. But yeah, there we are. So this is the cover of that. Let's go back to the poll and see what the poll is going at the moment. We're going to get into that. Let's have a look here. We've got 101 votes. Woohoo! You guys rock, man. 100. I love it. Every time you go over 100 votes, it's kind of cool. 101 votes is pretty good. Do you like any of these third-party projects? Liquid Loans 39%. So as you see, that's kind of pretty popular. Hedron 9%. So I think there's still a lot of learning to go around that. We'll try and cover that in the live stream. Once again, I'm a RH maxi. I do look at some of these other projects, but I am still like, well, if I can make big X's over here, why would I allocate capital over to here? And there has to be a good reason for it, but we'll see how that goes. At 9% Hedron, liquid loans and Hedron 22%. So you can add that in. That's pretty popular too. So I guess you could aggregate those. None of these 31%. So 1 in 3 people. None of these at this stage anyway have 1 in 3 people. And probably just going to look at Richard Hart projects, PulseChain, PulseX, etc. So that's pretty reasonable, I think. All right, let's jump over to a couple other things. We've got Hex Holder says, I don't want to say USDL, yes, USDL. And Mr. Speedy says, ending stakes drives a share rate. Yep, that's right. And how do I get the USDL back to fiat? There's going to be bridges. They're also going to potentially have exchanges set up. They're trying to negotiate, I think, possibly with Coinbase. I think they're trying to get an exchange to be able to USDL to fiat. So they're trying to work that out. That won't necessarily be soon. I think they said so. Just take that into account. But there will be tradable pairs. You'll be able to trade USDL for other stuff. So it might be a way of indirectly getting that out there. No doubt. Stakey says, bro, you need to bail from tyranny, Aussie. You can live with us, no joke. Get on a plane. We have guns here. Yeah. Well, they got taken away. Interestingly enough, those kind of things got taken away before they started doing the authoritarian stuff. Interesting, eh? It was pretty obvious, of course, to us who are, keep aware of these things. Simon says, State Hex, thank me later. He's a Kiwi, although he's just as bad. Hey, good one, Simon. And Brazil says 6,500 versus 900 in Telegram groups. Good comparison, Brazil. Appreciate that. So there we are. Yeah. Liquid loans gonna have fiat on board and Staker app also eventually. Oh, is that right? I didn't know about the Staker app connection there, Hexodal. That's interesting. I'll definitely look into that. Also, eventually, also one other fiat on board I heard of, right? But this M2K says, you rock. I appreciate that, M2K. And always great to see you as always. Brazil says, I'm Richard Hart Maxi too. Yeah. I think when in doubt, you be Richard Hart Maxi. But, there are, at this stage, I am, interested in the liquid loan stuff. I can see, as I've talked about a couple of those strategies, I can see a couple of opportunities there. But once again, that's not going to be straight after PulseChain anyway. It's going to take a little while for them to get audited and get the prices in. Hedron, I have to do a lot more study on it. That's just to be frank. I've just done the overview there, and I want to do that properly. So it's going to be good. Simon says, cheers and good job, Brazilji. Get those trolls, yeah. NT Coin has got the thumbs up, so nice and different. Woohoo! Yeah, you know how it goes. Hex is pumping 22 cents now. Let's go back to the price. Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, 22.1 cents. Yeah, boy. As we saw, it's shiny in the hood. Get in the hood. Okay. I've watched too many movies lately. I don't know. Let's get into that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Let's focus on that. That's nice. We'll get the zoom on that. That's pretty cool though. Nice. I'm not sure why my chart looks a bit off at the moment. What's the moving average? 200 moving average, 22.5 cents. Let's head up to that. Nice. We got a nice little candle here too. Nice little volume candle. How much is that? 317,000. So nice. Let's get out of here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the. We're going to look at the trades. Oh, look at us. Woohoo! Green across the board, folks, on the trades. Oh, then we got a red one. Just as I said, green across the board, then we get a red one. Just typical, right? Just as you go. That's hilarious. All right. So we're getting some nice, we must have some nice buys in there. Yeah, so some decent buys here in USD coming in. The last couple really lifted us 21.6 all the way up to 22. Nice. All right. And ETH is going down, right? So ETH is $3,121 and the gas is around 101. So that's actually pretty low gas wave price at the moment, to 101. So if you want to do something that's a better price than what it has been, but 3,121 is definitely, I think so. Obviously, as the Hex price goes up, you can get more ETH with your Hex. So we do get a bit of that going on too. That's that relationship gets a bit on. Brazilology says, get him. Tefron, get him. Yeah. Woohoo! Nice. Chink, chink. All right, very cool. All right, so looking good on the poll there. Let's see what the time frame. Hour and 20. Hey, man, I can't believe it's an hour and 18 minutes. And normally I do about an hour and 20 minutes, so pretty cool. We're going to probably wrap up that poll. Let's do that. It's pretty good time. Let's go. And let's see what the final results are. Let's see what they're coming up there, popping up. It's funny, there's a couple of seconds delay between when the comments pop up on YouTube versus the studio that we're using. Gas gets as low as in the 60s past few nights in the US. Oh, is that right? Okay, wow. Okay, haven't seen that, but we could pull that up on Hex.vision, right? Let's actually do that. Let's pull up Hex.vision. Let's pull it up. So we'll have a look at that. I'm going to close down some of these. Actually, I might. Let's close those ones. It does go back here, and we're going to go to the gas. So this is Hex.vision, folks, and we're going to go to the gas prices. It's a pretty good presentation of the gas prices here. So we'll check that out. But before we do that, we're going to do the poll. Let's check the poll. So the poll results, do you like any of these third-party projects? 37% liquid loans, 30% none of these, and liquid loans and Hedron 23%, Hedron 8%, and that's 104 votes. So pretty good results there. Hopefully that offers everybody some indication of the likeness there. 100 is a good, 104 is a pretty good little small little pool to take from. Alex says PulseChain launch price prediction, and Tefron says 0. That would probably be pretty accurate. This stuff is 0, but then the ratio bot's going to work, do their thing, and we'll probably have some pulls up with PulseX. So it's pretty interesting. All right, let us jump over to the gas prices. Let us have a look here. So, yeah, it's been pretty rough the last couple of days. Has certainly eased off a little bit at the moment. 80 Gwei, 80.90 Gwei seems to be the lowest lately. And then, of course, earlier in the week, let me make sure I'm on the right tape here. Yeah, it wasn't in December. We still were getting 40 Gwei, 50, 60 Gwei in December, end of December. But now it's been just, what's this white one? 70, 80 Gwei is kind of the lowest. So you've been pretty lucky if you got 60. You probably just kept picking those couple of times when it's got cheaper for sure. And of course, here's the day summary of the last 30 days by day and Gwei. So Saturday has been the lowest Gwei, 94 to 102. Obviously today is what, Thursday possibly in most places. So Thursday typically has been 140 and 120. So the gas prices are a bit lower here. Oh, well, they're back to 132, just as I went to say that. So got to be careful what you say, that's for sure. All right, so good. The price is looking spectacular. We'll jump out of there and go have a look at that. It's looking nice. And let's look at the daily. We'll have a look at some of the TA. I was going to wrap up at an hour 20, but we're going to just go through some of the TA there. Pull it up, and we're going to pull just some of the indicators. The CCI is starting to look positive up there. We've got a nice room, man. We have a nice room to run. We could get something like this. Would be nice. Just those Hex OGs got to just hey, you got a couple $1 million, just stay cool. You don't need to keep selling stuff down. Go stake some and get some beautiful returns. Let's get on. We have a huge stake today, right? That 200 million stake, 212 million stake today. That was pretty nice. Like the end of the day 779. Plenty of room for the MACD there. Hopefully we're getting a nice little crossover. What else we got going on there? The RSI, probably one of the more important ones. Yeah, got a nice room in there to move as well. So plenty of room. And finally, DMI. DMI, the buyers is ticked up here. The sellers are in red. They're in control at the moment, obviously, but they're starting to dip down too. So we're getting a nice little crossover there. A bit of fight. The signal line's way down here. Yeah. Let's watch out for this little battle going on. Little battle royale is what I'm trying to say. Very, very cool. And actually, we've got some interesting in the volume oscillator. Whoa! So it's definitely got plenty of room for the volume oscillator. Kind of a interesting metric there. Nice. All right, so looking good, folks. That is it. Let's give one more update for the PulseX Sacrifice. So we're going to go up at the top here, have a look at this, and let's see where we're at. So 938.8 million on the ETH chain, and let's have a look at. Oh, I've got rid of the pulse leads accidentally. I've got rid of pulse leads. It's not great. PulseX lead. Let's pull that up. Jump out of there. I understand. Yes, I understand. All right, let's go into this pulse lead. We're going to do one more update. 979.6 million on the ETH and Binance Smart Chain. Very, very cool. And this is my favorite number. You guys know it. 2,147,000,000 hex and 223,000 now. It's almost 200,000 been added on there. Nice. And of course, that is off the market. I love it. I love it. That's on top of PulseChain. So very, very cool. I really do want to see Gunther, the accountant's latest spreadsheet. That would give us a lot of insight into the actual net circulating supply in the public. So there's the AA accounts, and in the public, that's you and I. And of course, that's what we care about, the circulating supply in the public and how big that is. And we know that definitely billions have been taken off the market over the last 6 months. So very exciting to see that. Very cool. All right, let's do a couple more comments here. Tofrin's laughing. So nice. And we've got some more bots in there. Not sure if someone dealt with that bot. They did. Well done. And thanks, Brazology. And Hex Hodl says, for a stake, can edit gas and set like 65 minute will go through with dips. That very risky strategy, though, the Hex Hodl, but definitely possible. You don't want to get a failed transaction on the ETH chain with the fees so high. But I do understand that if you're in the right time zone, but under the current way, that I still think that would be quite a risky strategy. Not so much for a swap that would fail. Yeah, swap would fail. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for a transfer, you mean? Yeah, okay, that would be true. Hexodal says for amounts under 5K, use a change now with low fee coin like XLM, BSD, USD, TRC, better rate than swap with ETH. Yeah, that's true. So change now is quite good. That's a really good piece of advice to Hexodal. CS5 says Bollinger Bands on the daily contracting. Yeah, let's actually pull that up because that's a good point. So yeah, we've got the Bollinger Bands contracting there. Just trying to see, yeah, they're pretty narrow between here. So that's a really good sign. That means a decision is going to be made once they get a bit tighter. Let's have a look at another period. Obviously, when they got tighter here, the price was down, but we could easily see when it gets tighter here, the price is up. So it's probably what I'm expecting to see there. Jamie says TradingView is broken. Yeah, I had TradingView up before, but I have closed it down. Jamie, closed down. I'm not sure. Is it suddenly got offline? I'm not sure, but it wasn't. It was working fine when I used it earlier. What else? Alex says, can you refresh on how much total supply would be for Pulse and PulseX? Yeah, so Pulse is somewhere between 135, 150 trillion. And of course, PulseX, we're waiting for the origin account, so we'll wait and find out what it exactly does. But I'm still expecting it to do maybe 85% or something like that of the total supply. But that's probably a good indication for the moment. PulseX is going to be obviously a lot bigger and percentage. So that's probably it. I'll probably cover more around that probably tomorrow. Do some more stuff around that supply because I was actually going to cover that topic. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that, folks. I'm going to sign off now. Hex price is doing pretty nice, 22.15. I think we can all enjoy that for sure. Thanks for watching. I always spelled the word watching wrong and I have to retype it. That's why I always take longer to write that. But yeah, cool. Alex says, thank you very much. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Let's put out some emojis. A big shout out to new channel member, of course, a Pulse Marketing team. Thank you very much. And don't forget to go and subscribe to Pulse Marketing team for another promoter of PulseX and PulseChain. Or get out there and support all the promoters out there for sure. Onwards and upwards. So just warming up, folks. It's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy 2022. I am super stoked for it. I am super stoked. It is going to be awesome. Just a bit more patience. Maybe another 40 days, 35, 40 days of patience. And I'm sure we'll be getting there pretty close around that time. It's going to be pretty cool. Catherine says, another great stream. I appreciate that. And Jamie says, thanks so much. Woo! Yeah. All right. I like that. All right. Let me find my emojis so I can trip this out as well. Got to finish in style. These are some of the Hex Token channel member emojis. So I love this. And very, very cool. All right. How's that? Bam. All right. Take care all. Bye for now. And enjoy yourself. Pulse Earth Planes in the house. Hey, Pulse Earth Plane, good to see you. Thanks again. And hey, a pleasure. Great to see another Hex Token channel member in the house as well. All right. Bye for now. See ya.